Okay, it is officially time for the next A to Z mini reworks, my thoughts, ideas, changes, so on and so forth. Sorry if the audio just adjusted there. I kind of messed with the mic mid-talk. But damage magic, style mostly ability, difficulty 1, crowd control 3, toughness 3, utility 2 with no mobility and no damage, understandable. Yeah, I'd say understandable. Okay, MAOKAI is a rageful, towering treant who fights the unnatural horrors of the Shadow Isles. He was twisted into a force of vengeance after a magical cataclysm destroyed his home. Surviving undeath only through the waters of life infused within his heartwood. Once a peaceful nature spirit, MAOKAI now furiously battles to banish the scourge of unlife from the Shadow Isles and restore his home to its former beauty. That's never gonna happen. Okay, MAOKAI the Twisted Treant. Well, he's actually just called it. Okay. Sap Magic. This ability is stupid. MAOKAI's basic attack also heal him on a moderate cooldown. Each time MAOKAI casts a spell or is struck by an enemy's spell, this cooldown is reduced. It is ridiculous. Bramble Smash. MAOKAI knocks back nearby enemies with a shockwave, dealing magic damage and slowing them. Okay, nothing major. Twisted Advance. MAOKAI contorts into a mass of moving roots, becoming untargetable and dashing to the target. Upon arrival, he roots the target, which is somewhat annoying, but nothing too insane. Then Sapling Toss. MAOKAI flings a sapling to the target area to stand guard. More effective in brush. Okay, then we have Nature's Grasp. MAOKAI summons a colossal wall of brambles and thorns that slowly advances forward. Damaging and rooting any enemies in the path. Honestly, for the most part, I actually don't find MAOKAI that bad. His CC is extremely annoying in team fights, but besides that, it's nothing too major. And the only thing that I really think is, I'd actually say, broken about him is the fact of his passive. His passive is extremely outrageous. It doesn't seem like it'd be that outrageous, but like towards late game when everyone has a 45-second cooldown reduction, he's a 45% cooldown reduction. He's getting his passive up every 3 seconds, and every time it heals him is for like a quarter of his HP. So every auto he's healing for a quarter of his HP, you genuinely cannot do more damage unless you have like your main damage sources attacking him. If it is a tank versus him, no matter what, he's going to win. It's just not going to happen. You just don't do enough damage unless you are a main damage source to kill him. And honestly, that just makes it extremely annoying. But besides that, he's actually pretty okay. His R, you can't really dodge. You really just have to run from it and hope for the best. For the most part, I just say have your tank body block it for you. His E is nothing that insane. It does some damage, but it's really not that bad. His Q is, just nothing really that insane. It's just basically a skill shot that happens to have a CC effect to it. His W, I don't like the fact that it is a point and click that allows him to go straight to you and then immediately root you. Like point and click CC is just not balanced in my opinion. Same with Pantheon, how he could just jump to a target and stun them. It's just not a fun thing. So I would prefer his W to be, I don't know, maybe a little bit different, maybe sort of like a Rek'Sai W to an extent, to where he'll hit his W and then he will burrow under the ground, not going untargetable, but having large amounts of damage reduction, and then he can move, he can move around freely for a short duration. And then if he's moving towards enemies, he gains bonus movement speed, though. And then upon reactivation, he pops out of the ground, rooting all nearby enemies. Something like that, in my opinion, would be a bit more balanced. Maybe have it be his W, he also gains bonus movement speed when moving towards bushes. That way, you know, he could throw his sapling in, throw it, get into his W, pop out, sapling explodes, uses Q, auto attacks, and gains all of his HP. So the only thing I would really do is lower the amount of health he gains back from his passive. And then, as I said, make his W not a point and click, but instead something that allows him to actually just move around freely. And then he gains bonus movement speed when moving towards bushes or enemies, and that can stack, allowing him to move that much faster. But the movement speed towards bushes would obviously be a lot less than the movement speed towards enemies. But besides that, honestly, I find the rest of it pretty balanced. He really doesn't do much damage at all. He is the definition of a wet noodle fight. He would take 5.5 years to auto attack you to death. His spells really don't hurt that bad. Like, they hurt early game, but everything hurts early game. His E, for the most part, you can outrun it. His Q isn't anything that insane. I said his W is annoying, but if they put in that change, it wouldn't be that bad. And his R is really helpful in team fights, but that's really it. Yeah, for the most part, it's really not anything that you want to use on your lane alone. But, you know, if you're getting ganked, it wouldn't be the worst case scenario. But, yeah, the only change that I'd make is, for the general recap, his passive, lower the amount of heals. Q is fine. W, make it allows him to free roam, bonus movement speed towards bushes and enemies. Reactivate with your W to root enemies nearby upon, like, re-arrival. His E is the exact same. R is the exact same. God, this is probably the easiest one I've done so far, except for, like, Bard. Okay, we have Charred MAOKAI, which I think looks amazing. Totemic MAOKAI, which I think does look very cool. Festive MAOKAI, which I do like it, but I don't think it's great. I think they could have went a little bit more with it, to be completely honest. Haunted MAOKAI, yet again, I really don't think this skin is that great, but it's okay. Goalkeeper MAOKAI is mediocre. Sorry. MAOKAI is trash. Anyone who thinks otherwise is also trash. Victorious MAOKAI is honestly pretty cool. I will give it that. It's not the best Victorious skin, but honestly, I do think it is nice. So definitely at like a lower, like a 3 is Goalkeeper. It's not great. It's not. Next to that, I would honestly put MAOKAI. I think this skin is trash. I hate it with a passion, and it should not exist. At a solid 4. I would put the 5 being, honestly, the Haunted skin, because I just don't really think it looks that good. I don't know why, because, like, for the theme, I guess it fits pretty well, but in general, I just don't like it. It just doesn't feel haunted to me. It just feels like a creepy-looking tree. I'm keeping it also a 5 with the Haunted, the Festive, because I think they could have went a little bit more with it. To be completely honest, I think that, you know, having more of, like, he's just a Christmas tree, but, like, I wish he had lights on him instead of, you know, just a scarf. I wish that, like, his, like, left hand had ornaments on it, or, like, things along that line, like, his fingers were, like, the hooks to ornaments. Something like that, in my opinion, would be a bit better. Like, it'd still have, like, a face, but, like, an ornament with a face on it, with, like, the hooks being from that side, and he could still keep, like, the whole Christmas hat on that arm and everything. But I like the little saplings being presents, but besides that, I wish he just had, like, lights actually wrapped around him, and his left hand was, like, an ornament. Then I'd actually put the totem, to be completely honest, at, like, a solid 6. I'm not gonna lie, I actually, no, the totem at, like, a solid 7. Then I'm not gonna lie, I'm putting the Charred, now this is a little biased because I always like more, like, fiery-esque things. The Charred and Victorious, now I'm not gonna put them side by side, but I'll put the Charred at 8 and Victorious at a solid 9. It would be a 10, but as I said, it's really not the best skin in the world. It's basically just normal MAOKAI skin, but reformed. It's as if, like, MAOKAI just became a holy entity. Which I guess that's what it's supposed to do, but it just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem good enough, I guess. And, like, I love the Charred skin. It does look really nice to me. But I would say that the Victorious is better in an overall standpoint, but my personal favorite is definitely Charred. I think this one is honestly amazing skin that I would put right below. This skin could be better, but like honestly, it would go from like where it is at like a solid 5 or 6. No, the 5 that I put it at to like a good 6 or 7, like tied with the totem if they just made those changes. Haunted, I don't like. They just needed to give it like a quality of life change because like I think it is good, but so could be better. I don't like this skin at all. I don't like this skin at all, and yeah, that's Maokai. I didn't really do much with his abilities. Everything here is actually pretty accurate, and I like his skins, but you know they could every skin can use work to an extent, but I think his skins are pretty good. If you agree or disagree with anything that I've said about Maokai, please leave it in a comment down below. I will gladly get back to you as soon as possible. And, yeah, with that, I'm going to thank you all very much for watching this video, and I'm going to bid you all adieu. A goodbye.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming